All right.
Low levels of water found.
Nothing basically
High
next to the
levels of
colony at the
silicon
start. We
found.
do find a nice little triangle of carbon with a medium tile. Certainly going to be usable, but PB flew off to the right, found this giant patch of iron and aluminum he's going to try and use this game, and he actually went ahead and went expansive. Have to see if that works out for him. York, I'm very concerned about starting with these 3 carbon tiles. That's, I think, once again, going to be just too much at the start of the game. No aluminum secured. There is plenty available. It's not like PB is going to be able to lock him out of it this game, but he's going to have to purchase up quite a bit of it very quickly, especially because he found it on top of literally no resources. Whereas PB, pretty much the exact opposite. I believe I can tell exactly what he got in the found, because I wasn't fast enough. He found it so quick. But he definitely, with how low that iron price is, he definitely sold off a lot of it from founding.
Yep. I should say to anyone who's left viewing our game, viewing our stream, they should switch over to Zoltar327.
Did you guys not make it in again?
Yeah, we didn't make it in.
No.
Seems like we're pretty reliably not getting in with 2 observers at this point for whatever reason.
Yeah, we did earlier, which was odd. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
you would know better than I would what would be causing that right now.
No, I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
But we'll work on it.
Wow, is this 3 aluminum tiles coming out? Where are these claims going to go? 3 aluminum tiles from York. I don't know. It feels like York has this consistent
what in the world?
decision to... I don't know. It feels like he overcommits to resources a lot, right? Like, it can be a very fine line of, okay, well, yeah, it's just 1 extra claim, but it's 1 extra claim and you've only got like 6 of them right now.
That's basically, what does he get when he upgrades to level 2 at Scavenger? Does he get 3?
He gets 3. He gets 3 claims.
That's his whole claim.
That's like, I think at least he gets 3 claims. Maybe he gets, okay, well, he got an extra one for founding second, I think.
Sure,
right?
Sure, okay. Well, that'll be a nice electronics factory triangle, I guess. That's all I can think to justify it.
I don't.
And also, water is very scarce on this map. So I would start to claiming water. Water looks like a better bet to me than aluminum. I mean, I can see claiming 2.
Oh, sure. I agree. I think water definitely was the way to go. Like, 1 or 2 aluminum tiles, sure. Maybe if he had waited until these pirates came out, realized he was going to be able to get a hold of some of PB's aluminum, he could have just taken 2 water tiles, 1 aluminum, gotten to level 3, and been all set to just grab a nice silicon, finish off his 2 aluminums, grab a little extra water. He could have been in a really great spot, or just maybe not taking 3 carbon tiles that are worth $3 right now.
Oh yeah, if he had 1 of those carbons back, 1 of those aluminums back, he could have 2 reactors working right now.
Yeah. I mean, I can see taking a 3rd carbon on HQ level 3, HQ level 4, HQ level 5, depending on exactly how that game's going, but HQ level 1, I don't think it's ever going to be a good idea. Ooh, power short. How bad is that? Well, PB just throwing down 2 water as his power shortage is getting started. He is going to be able to claim a geotherm if he wants to.
Interestingly, they're both trying to claim that high silicon in the middle. There's 3 high silicon on the map, so it doesn't necessarily really matter, but they both are seeing the potential importance of silicon right now.
Yeah. They both have access to 1 high silicon tile. We're dead even there. They're both positioned even similar distances from the owner's base, so really no advantage coming out there. PB is the first one to get into water, and he definitely has the best access to water this game. Much as that's worth commenting on, with it simply being a medium tile instead of a low, but... Alright.
Here goes power.
Yep, York, once again, he's got 3 tiles in power, and that could have been a fantastic decision with power shorted that way, but PB, he's on the ball, and he just power surges the whole line.
Yep.
Yeah, a nice little goon right in the middle there for York. Definitely could have saved him from this pain, but one thing you have to say for York, he is flying through expansions. Already HQ level 4, significantly outpacing PB, so that's very nice for him. Committing all these resources, all of them, into this expansion, just into consistent expansions, might pay off for him in the end. He managed to secure the glass he needed.
2,000.
Ooh, carbon scrubbing. I don't know if this is going to go for a whole lot. But I guess one thing I do have to say in York's favor, I think the 3 carbon tiles he got are literally the 3 carbon tiles.
The only 3 carbon tiles.
Yeah. And he's going to have access to carbon scrubbing. It's possible he noticed that and PB didn't. Carbon's not going to be on his radar yet this game unless he's paying very close attention. And as that carbon scrubbing came up, despite this, PB may be thinking, I don't think the carbon resources are going to be that great this game. Water's already pretty high. Fuel's getting higher. Glass is pretty high. Maybe electronics and chems just aren't going to be necessary, so carbon scrubbing isn't going to be necessary either.
We'll just leave it to the carbon random event.
Yeah, you can always surplus it if he absolutely needs it. We know he's going to have that hacker array. York building a hacker array right now, defending it, clearly seeing to what happened to him last game, and he's trying to fight back.
What do you mean?
He got all the carbon.
Oh, there's no other carbon. Is he going to short it?
He might. I'd hope so. He's got that hacker array going. He might try a short on electronics. He's got 3 of that production up as well.
Okay,
More power surges.
I like to move into hacking. We shall see. Pbhead does not have a hacker array up yet, huh?
Nope. He's playing expansive, and they can be a little clunky in 1v1 these days.
Yep.
But no hacker array still from PB, and I believe he's used up all his claims. I think that's understandable, though. Why do you need to hack anything when power is at $200 and you can keep your opponent blocked out of it completely?
Right.
I mean, he's just committed like 4 tiles to power. He's got some reactors down. Those are going to be making him good money regardless. His opponent, meanwhile, only has this electronics factory down and then his carbon tiles. I mean, basically, York has put himself into a position where he requires the hacker array to get anything done. PB, he's just kind of going with the flow and saying, yep, I'm just going to lock you out of power and make my money there.
I'm kind of curious why PB didn't go robotic this game, because that's such a standard play. It turned out really well for him in the sense that there was only those 3 tiles of carbon on the map, so he could have actually been in a disastrous situation if York had decided just to sit on the carbon.
Mm-hmm. My big... Sorry, what was that?
Oh, I was just sort of thinking ahead that like he would not been able to make himself electronics and could have gotten some serious debt problems.
Definitely, but PB definitely didn't know that when he found it. No question about that. Because he found it almost instantly. I mean, he just flew into that patch of aluminum and iron and was like, whatever, going with it. Threw down expansive. PB going ahead and getting his own hacker array up. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like, well, PB is kind of a bit of a show-off sometimes. Maybe he's just doing that. Nothing against being a show-off. That's totally fine. But, you know, oh, that's interesting. We actually have a carbon tile added to the map. Right next to PB's base. This is valuable to him almost no matter what resource it would have been. Just being able to take this tile away from his opponent. Or tile for just 7,000. That's pretty fantastic. Now, it is going to slow down PB's money just a hair. He's making most of his money on power right now. So he has to churn back through this debt.
Right.
But York definitely couldn't afford to go any higher. He's sitting on 64,000 debt. That's just flying up because he has not had his power online for most of this game.
Yeah, well, that's what he's afraid of, obviously, is more debt. But very different game for Pbhead, considering how little debt he has. That has not been his playstyle recently.
I think York, seeing the power of the hacker array last game, but maybe rushing to it too quickly this game, not identifying that other things might have been more important because of that natural power shortage that was occurring.
Yeah. I mean, hacker array is powerful, but tricky. You have to know exactly why you're building it.
You have to have a good reason.
Yep.
There almost always is a good reason, but you have to know what it is.
Yep. Is he hacking electronics right now?
Let's see. For PB, we've got a hack on electronics. That's going to be a surplus for York. He's not actually doing anything with it. So, once again, that's just currently a wasted tile.
Is he? I'm looking at... I thought I was looking at York, and I see his hacker rate progressing.
It was defending is all that we've got for York on his hacker array. And then PB, we just have that electronic surplus coming in, and that's going to be it.
Yep, okay.
For the time being.
Oh, good
York might have actually completed a fuel surplus. I know one came through.
Right.
So that may have been what he did with it, identifying PB's fuel production and forcing PB out of that.
He is producing no water life support at all, is he?
York? Nope, not at all. He moved immediately into these electronics, and I think that was probably a huge mistake. I mean, electronics, when he started making them, they were only $96. He was going to be relying on a short to make money off of that. And before he could even think about shorting them, PB just tossed down a surplus. And that price is currently down at 40 and continuing to go down.
Yeah, looking at this map with an expansive and a scavenger player, to me that just that screams water resources.
For sure. York hasn't made a single one. He's actually gone and moved into chemicals, which is kind of a nice thought in some ways, because, like, if you don't look specifically at prices, it makes sense, right? Because he did the fuel surplus. I think that was him. He has carbon scrubbing, but chems are only $57. Food's up at $155.
Mm-hmm.
York actually saying, GG outplayed that game. I shouldn't have settled the scav. I think he was exactly right. Scavenger was probably a bad decision, and I think he started upgrading very, very, very quickly, but he did not take advantage off those upgrades and was stuck with a large number of tiles that were doing nothing for him. I mean, he even, like, transitioned the carbon into power. Power's now $1. Carbon's up at 50. He doesn't have any of that income. He has a bunch of empty aluminum tiles that aren't doing anything. He has a bunch of empty tiles right next to his headquarters that aren't doing anything. And when you don't have buildings down, well, you're not making any money.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could have potentially made it work as Scavenger, but those 3 aluminums, that was a huge
It was too
stretch.
much. I think he could have made it work as Scavenger too, but PB locked him out of power perfectly that game. That was fantastic. Identifying that his opponent didn't have a goon squad set up for it. And maybe York just committing too many tiles to too many wrong locations. PB does have a water short coming in at this point. It's about halfway done. He's actually going to upgrade and just claim a whole bunch of the water tiles off the map away from his opponent, and he'll be in a really nice spot. I don't think York never took a single water tile.
Yep.
PB correctly identifying that. He's just going to finish up this game probably very quickly. Well, a Kim short went off. That might have been York. I don't think it was, but it might have been. I mean, he never even got that much into chem production. He just has the one little building up right now. Right. And he's actually, I think he might have been having trouble getting more up because he let carbon, what happened, I think, was he let carbon get too expensive. You have to have carbon to put down your buildings, right? And it's just, it was hard for him to maybe make that transition.
Yeah, he had to switch back into carbon.
Yeah. Well, now water short's coming in. PB's already up at a nice 90%. This game probably won't go on too much longer. All right, we're just waiting for the sell at this point. York's stock price is absolutely nothing, considering he already has most of it bought up by PB with only 3 shares in himself. And he's just going to have so much, such a ridiculous amount of debt. 106 debt right now.
Yep.
106,000 debt right now. Let's go ahead and clarify that. Well, there's the buy. PB's going to take it. Nice little victory screen on his base. Kind of used to looking at that for PB at this point. But let's go ahead and see if we can take a good look at what happened that game. Well, the resources screen, we're going to see that York only sold about 17,000 in aluminum off of those total tiles once you count purchased and sold together. Had to buy 5,000 fuel for his chemical production that he made about $10,000 on total. So that's okay, but not necessarily where you want to be. Auto purchased 109,000 resources, only auto sold 62,000 power, considering how ridiculously expensive power was and the fact that he had committed 3 tiles to it. That's not exactly where you want to be. Only made about $9,000 on carbon, likely having to buy at such an expensive time, and then $27,000 off those electronics that he never really got to do a whole lot with. There's just not a lot of money being made on York's screen. If we tab on over to PB, on the other hand, he sold 80,000 power, despite not having as good of power production as York did for the vast majority of the game. Sold 65,000 in water, 50,000 in food. Another nice, of course, 36,000 in steel, and only had to buy up 26,000 worth of glass that game, realistically, for most of his stuff. A little bit of a carbon buy, a little bit of carbon selling going on, maybe trying to play around the short. That didn't really work out too well for him, but he didn't commit too hard for it, so it didn't matter all that much at the end of the day.
Yeah, the water resources ruled, and beyond that, I think that electronic surplus was the real sort of like moment.
Oh,
where,
definitely.
You know, he kind of ended the game for York.
Mm-hmm. York says, I shouldn't have went scav. I'm not good with it, which is entirely understandable. I mean, if you're not good with a colony, that can make it a bit difficult. That is an interesting part of Offworld Trading Company, though. Realistically, because each colony is so dependent on what you find on the map and kind of what positioning you're able to found in, it can make it very important to be able to play with all 4.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely one of my goals as a designer. I think there are maybe players who are just going to stick with expansive, but like I think the best players are ones who can adapt for sure.
That's definitely what we've seen. I guess we can also take a nice look at Black Market. We're going to see PB getting 3 new claims purchased, 2 power surges. Those both went on to, well, power, as it turned out. 1 underground nuke. I'm not even sure where that went. Might have been a nice carbon tile, though. And then 2 goon squads. Makes perfect sense. Then we see from York just 1 EMP, just 1 dynamite, and just 1 goon squad. The fact that he was Scavenger and only got 3 black market purchases off, definitely not telling a nice story from that game. Where was the underground nuke? I'm not even sure. Because his carbon all looks intact. I don't see any water for him.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Was
Interesting.
there a high carbon originally?
Nope, it was just the 1 medium and 2 lows, I think. So, oh well. Maybe he purchased it and just never used it. Maybe it would have been toward the end of the game.
Pbhead just said I was saving it.
Okay, he was saving it, yeah. I think maybe he was saving it for water.
Right, but you just never claimed it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he was ready for that water claim. PB might have been watching. I'm wondering if PB will tell us what that was for, but I think that's going to wrap it up for our games tonight, right? That's
hard to believe, but there's only 6 games left in the tournament now. 7, I guess, if you count the bronze medal match. Yeah, we're getting to the end here.
Yep. But definitely still seeing some very strong play out of the remaining players. I think, even this game, York probably had enough right ideas that he could have beaten a whole lot of the players in this tournament, but just not quite putting it together well enough to take down PB, because that is a bit of a tall order. Yep.
Yeah, PB is definitely playing in his element right now. He's adapted to 1v1. He's obviously been practicing a lot. He's looking like the player to beat right now.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see who can give him a nice run for his money as we keep going.